Reborn in 1987. I quit my job immediately. This time, I won't fund a scumbag's education. I'm going to Beijing for university. My heart felt like it was being crushed by a fist, pounding so hard it might burst from my chest. I sat up abruptly on the hard wooden bed. Outside the window was the soot-blackened glass typical of 1987, and in the distance, the morning whistle of the state-owned factory blared, sharp and piercing. I froze for a full 3 seconds, then looked down at my hands. These were not the frostbitten, deformed hands of my 30-year-old self, but slender, calloused hands, still youthful, of a 21-year-old. The calendar on the wall was torn to June 15th, the day before the college entrance exam registration. I had been reborn on the stupidest day of my life. In my past life, on this very day, I had just received my wages. I had taken a full 50 yuan, half a month's pay, and secretly given it to Chen Jingming. I couldn't even bear to buy myself a new pair of sandals, just so he could afford his study materials. He had held me and whispered sweet promises. Once he got into a university in Beijing, he would marry me in style and make me the happiest woman in the world. What happened instead? He went to Beijing and never came back to our small town. I heard he found a local girl there and forgot all about me, because I had spent years funding his education. I never even made it to night school. At 30, I lost my job, married a gambling addict, was beaten black and blue, and finally drank pesticide in a rented room. The thought made my stomach churn with nausea. Creak. The door pushed open. In walked Chen Jingming, wearing a washed-out blue cloth jacket, his hair neatly combed. His face wore its usual gentle smile, but I could see clearly now. The calculation beneath that smile was sharper than ever. "Qinghe, you're awake," he said, walking to the bed and reaching for my hand. "I just went to the factory gate to ask. Your bonus for this month should have come through." "Right. I'm still short 5 yuan for my study materials. Can you lend it to me? I'll pay you back when school starts." The same as always. In my past life, I would have eagerly handed over all my money, afraid it wasn't enough. But now, I calmly pulled my hand back, threw off the covers, and got out of bed. My voice was so steady it surprised even myself. "No." Chen Jingming's smile froze. "Qinghe, what did you say?" I said no. I looked at him, enunciating each word. "That money is mine. I'm keeping it to buy my own study materials." He looked as if he'd been struck by lightning. He probably never expected Su Qinghe, who always obeyed him, to say such a thing. After a long pause, he recovered, and his smile turned into a wounded expression. "Qinghe, what's wrong with you? We had an agreement. When I go to Beijing for university, we'll be together. If you don't help me now, who will?" "I have no obligation to help you," I said, turning to tidy the enamel mug on the table. My voice remained calm. "Chen Jingming, you're an adult. Repeating your exams is your choice, not mine. I supported you for a year. That's more than enough." "Enough." His voice rose, accusing. "Su Qinghe, that's cruel. Who helped you with everything this past year? Who took you to the hospital in the middle of the night when you were sick? And now you say enough." He was trying to guilt-trip me, just as he had in my past life for 10 years. But now, I only found it ridiculous. "When I went to the hospital, I paid with my own wages," I said, stopping to look back at him, my eyes cold as ice. "You helped me. You were only interested in how much I earned each month and how much I could give you." "Chen Jingming, stop pretending. Everyone can see the truth." His face turned ugly. He stepped closer, lowering his voice threateningly. "Su Qinghe, don't be ungrateful. If you don't help me, I'll go to your factory and tell your coworkers how heartless you are. How you've been with me for 3 years and now that I'm retaking my exams, you want to dump me. Let's see how you face people after that." It was the exact same threat from my past life. I looked at him and laughed. "Go ahead, and while you're at it, I'd like to tell everyone how I earn 50 yuan a month, give you 30, and keep only 20 for myself. Can't even afford new clothes. Who do you think they'll sympathize with? The selfish man who lives off a woman without shame." Chen Jingming was stunned. He never expected the meek Su Qinghe to speak to him like this. I continued, "And don't think I don't know. You've been writing letters to Su Xiaodong, promising to marry her when you get into university. You've been playing me for a fool all this time. And now you dare threaten me. At the mention of Su Xiaotong's name, his face went white. He waved his hands frantically. You're talking nonsense. There's nothing between us. Whether there is or not, you know the truth. I turned away and walked to the table to pour water. Qin Jingming, from today on, we're done. Don't come looking for me again. I won't give you another cent. Take care of yourself. He stood there, trembling with rage, unable to speak. He knew I was telling the truth. He had no face to continue. After a long moment, he shot me a vicious glare and stormed off. Listening to his footsteps fade, I finally let out a breath. My back was soaked in cold sweat. This was my first step since being reborn, breaking the chains of my past life. Next, I would quit my job, focus on studying, and get into a university in Beijing. This time, I would live for myself. I walked to the window and pushed open the old frame. The morning breeze carried the scent of grass. In the distance, the factory chimney belched black smoke. The whistle blew again, announcing the start of a new day. 1987. My new life had officially begun. The next morning, before dawn, I got up. After a quick wash, I didn't go to the canteen for breakfast as usual. Instead, I pocketed the savings I had carefully counted the night before and headed straight to the factory administration building. My heart pounded like a rabbit's. This job was an iron rice bowl, something people in my past life would never dare give up. But now, I was about to shatter it with my own hands. Section chiefly of the personnel office sat by the window. When I walked in, he didn't even look up. Su Qinghe, what is it? I took a deep breath, walked to his desk, and said in a voice steadier than I felt, Section chiefly, I'm here to resign. His pen clattered onto the desk. He looked up sharply. Resign. Su Qinghe, have you lost your mind? Our textile factory is state-owned. People would kill to get in. You're a 21-year-old girl. If you quit, will you live on air? The colleagues nearby also turned to stare and whisper. I clenched my fists, my nails digging into my palms. The pain kept me grounded. Section chiefly, I've made up my mind. I'm going to Beijing to take the university entrance exam. This job isn't for me. University, he scoffed. You didn't even finish high school, and you want to go to university. Besides, what does a girl need so much education for? Find a good man and get married. That's the right path. I advise you to drop this idea and go back to work. I've already decided, I said, my eyes firm. I'll complete the paperwork today. Please process my file and final wages according to procedure. Just then, my father, Su Jiangwo, walked in. He was an old technician at the factory, here to reimburse some expenses. When he saw me in the personnel office, his face darkened. He pulled me aside and lowered his voice. Have you lost your mind? Quitting? Do you know you'll lose your medical insurance and pension? Our family isn't well off. Why are you doing this to yourself? Dad, I want to study. I don't want to be stuck in the factory forever. I explained. Study. And what will that get you? He frowned. That Qin Jingming is supposed to be university material. But he's still useless. Don't let him fool you. Come back to work and stop overthinking. I knew he meant well, but I couldn't go back. Dad, I've thought it through. I need to try. I pulled my hand away. Don't worry. I can take care of myself. Section chiefly walked over and sighed. Master Su, it's not that I won't help. Your daughter is too headstrong. I can't stop her. How about we give her unpaid leave? If she fails the exam, she can come back. I shook my head immediately. No, I want a formal resignation. Unpaid leave is too complicated. I don't want to leave myself a way back. Section chiefly looked at me with a mix of frustration and resignation, but finally pulled out the resignation form. Fine. Sign it, and I'll process it. But I'm telling you now, don't come crying to me later if you regret it. I took the pen. As my signature flowed onto the paper, each stroke felt like severing the bonds of my past life. The process was tedious. I had to see the workshop director, the finance department, and at every stop, someone tried to talk me out of it. Workshop director Wang took my hand earnestly. Qinghe, you're pretty and smart. Stay at the factory. Do good work. Marry a good man. That's a stable life. Quitting is too risky. Think it over. I smiled and shook my head. Director Wang, thank you for your kindness. I've made up my mind. By noon, all the paperwork was done. When I walked out of the administration building, the sun was warm on my face. I touched the resignation certificate in my pocket. My heart felt empty, yet also lighter than ever. When I got home, my mother, Wang Guilan, was cooking. She came over. All done. I nodded. She didn't scold me. She just sighed, went into the back room, and came back with a cloth bundle that she pressed into my hands. There's 300 yuan here. Your father and I saved it. If you're going to study, you'll need money. Take it. Don't deprive yourself. My eyes burned. In my past life, my parents had secretly given me money too, but I had been so blinded by that scumbag that I had immediately given it to him for his study materials. Mom, I don't want it. Keep it for yourselves, I said, pushing the bundle back. Take it. She insisted. If you're going to Beijing to study, you'll need travel and accommodation money. Your father and I will manage. Just then, my father came in. After a moment of silence, he said, Qinghe, I used to think the iron rice bowl was everything, but if you want to study, I support you. If life gets hard out there, come home. There will always be a place for you here. I couldn't hold back my tears. In my past life, I had failed so many people. In this life, I would work hard and live up to my parents' hopes. Mom, Dad, don't worry. I will definitely get into a university in Beijing, I said, wiping my tears, my voice firm. That afternoon, Chen Jingming came again. He stood at our gate, his face dark. Su Qinghe, did you really resign? Yes. Do you know what you're doing? He grabbed my arm. You quit. Who's going to support me? Are you trying to ruin me? I shoved his hand away. Chen Jingming, I've made myself clear. I won't support you anymore. You're the one who wants to go to university. Figure it out yourself. His face turned purple. Su Qinghe, don't regret this. Without a job, how will you live? How I live is none of your business. I said, worry about yourself. Don't come looking for me again. We're done. He glared at me and stormed off. Watching him go, I felt nothing. That man had ruined my life in my past life. In this life, he wouldn't affect me in the slightest. Now, I needed to pack away my emotions and focus on studying. I cleared out a small room to use as a study, found my old textbooks, and bought the latest study materials from the bookstore. I got up before dawn to memorize, and studied until late at night. My parents, though worried, said nothing. They just quietly made me good food. The days passed. I threw myself into my studies, forgetting the pain of my past life and the gossip around me. I knew this was only the beginning, but I was confident I would get into a university in Beijing and start a new life. The summer wind was hot and dry. I cleared out the small storage room in the west wing. An old, polished wooden desk, a bamboo chair, and a kerosene lamp with a spotless glass shade became my closest companions for the next few months. I had already filled out my university application. For my first choice, I only wrote Peking University's Chinese Literature Department. I crossed out the accept adjustment box without hesitation. In this life, I would not settle. I would grasp my future with my own hands, leaving no way back. Before dawn, I sat up in bed to study. The 1987 entrance exam was all about rote memorization, classical Chinese, math formulas, political knowledge points. I copied everything onto small slips of paper and memorized them while eating, walking, even fetching water from the well. The time I had wasted in my past life on a love-struck brain, I would now make up for, second by second. My parents never disturbed me. They just made sure to cook thick porridge early each morning and kept my favorite pickled radishes in the jar. In the evenings, my father would quietly trim the kerosene lamp wick to make it brighter, and my mother would sneak a warm boiled egg onto my desk. All their love and support were in these silent gestures, but the gossip in the alley was relentless. Every time I went out to buy salt, Aunt Zhang at the alley entrance would make snide remarks to anyone nearby. Look at that Sue girl. Threw away a state-owned job to chase a pipe dream of university. A girl in her 20s, making trouble for herself. She must have lost her mind after that Chin boy dumped her. Others would chime in. Exactly. What good is so much education for a girl? She'll have to marry eventually. She doesn't know what's good for her. She'll come crawling back soon enough. I let the words blow past me like wind. In my past life, I had cared too much about others' opinions and ended up a doormat for everyone. In this life, I only trusted the words I wrote with my own pen. Qin Jingming still didn't give up. He showed up at my door every few days. One evening, just as I finished a math practice test, urgent knocking came from the gate. I opened it. He stood there with a servile smile, clutching a wrinkled study booklet. Qinghe, I know you're still angry. There's really nothing between me and Su Xiaotang. Don't be upset anymore. Go back to work and keep supporting me. Once I get into Beijing, I'll take you there in style. I leaned against the doorframe, my voice flat. Qin Jingming, this is the last time I'll say this. I won't support you anymore. I won't have anything to do with you. Don't come back. His smile crumbled into anger. Su Qinghe, you're really this heartless. You didn't even finish high school. And you dream of Peking University. What future do you have except supporting me? How I live is none of your concern, I said, moving to close the door. If you keep bothering me, I'll call the neighbors to judge who's the one pestering someone who wants nothing to do with them. His face went pale. He knew I meant it. He stomped his foot in frustration. We'll see how long you can keep this up. Then he slunk away. He hadn't been gone half an hour before his younger sister, Qin Jinxiu, showed up with his younger brother, Qin Jingyang, and little sister, Qin Jingwei. Jinxiu stood with her hands on her hips, her attitude entitled and aggressive. Su Qinghe, my brother said you won't give him money, so you have to pay our school fees. And Jingyang needs new sneakers. And Jingwei needs hair ties. You always paid for these before. You can't just stop. Jingyang joined in. Yeah, if you don't pay, we're not leaving. Jingwei, the youngest, mimicked her sister and started crying. I want new hair ties. Buy them for me. In my past life, I would have panicked and handed over the money. But now, I just looked coldly at the three children. You are Qin Jingming's siblings, not mine. I helped you before because I wanted to. Now I don't want to anymore. If you need help, go find someone else. Jinxiu was taken aback, then threw a tantrum. We're asking you. If you don't help us, we'll go to the factory and cause a scene. We'll go to the neighborhood committee. I pointed to the corner of the alley. Su Xiaotang is waiting for your brother there every day. She's eager to help your family. Go ask her. She'll give you whatever you want. The three children exchanged glances. They all knew about Su Xiaotang. Their aggressive energy deflated. I pressed my advantage. If you keep blocking my door and making trouble, I'll go talk to your parents and ask how they raised their children to extort things from others at such a young age. That hit a nerve. Jinxiu reluctantly pulled her siblings away, shooting me a resentful glare, and they slunk off. With those burdens gone, I closed the gate and returned to my desk. The last lingering distractions in my heart were finally cleared. In the following days, I buried myself in my studies, barely stepping outside except for necessities. A teacher at the town middle school helped me grade my practice tests and was repeatedly amazed by my progress. Su Qinghe, your scores are very stable. You really have a chance at Peking University. Keep it up, and you'll definitely get in this year. His praise was a shot of adrenaline, making me even more determined. Late at night, the kerosene lamp cast shadows on my face as my pen scratched across the paper. Outside, the insects chirped, but I felt no fatigue. Every problem I solved, every text I memorized, brought me one step closer to Beijing and one step further from that unbearable past. My parents looked at my test papers, and the worry on their faces gradually gave way to pride. My father walked taller, telling people, my daughter is talented. She'll definitely get into a university in Beijing. The neighbors who had mocked me slowly fell silent. Their glances toward me grew more surprised and complex. Qin Jingming no longer dared to show up, though I sometimes saw him lingering at the end of the alley, staring in my direction. But he never had the courage to come closer. As the summer heat peaked, the exam day grew nearer. My heart grew calmer, holding my pen, looking at the mountain of study materials on my desk. I had only one thought. Beijing. I am coming. In this life, I would not rely on a man or false affection. I would rely only on my own hands and determination to carve out a bright future. 3 days before the exam, the tension in town was palpable. I was reviewing political science when a commotion erupted outside the gate. I put down my pen and opened the door. The 3 Chin children had barged into the yard. Jingyang was throwing rocks at the wall, making white dust fall. Jinxiu stood blocking the main door, defiant. Little Jingyue sat on the ground, wailing at the top of her lungs. Su Qinghe, you have to give us money today, Jinxiu declared. Chin raised. My brother's living expenses. Our school fees, you can't short a single cent. My mom said since you're dating my brother, taking care of our family is your duty. Jingyang added, if you don't pay, we'll smash your things so you can't take the exam. He reached for my study materials, the materials I had spent so much money on. My only hope of getting to Beijing. My eyes turned cold. I stepped forward and shielded my desk. My voice was low and icy. Touch one thing, and I'll drag you to the neighborhood committee right now and let the director judge which family's children are so ill-mannered they break into someone's home to smash and steal. Jingyang was frightened by the harshness in my eyes. His hand froze in midair. Jinxiu, undeterred, started screaming, we'll make trouble. If you won't take responsibility, we'll come every day and make sure you never get to Beijing. The commotion drew the whole alley. Neighbors gathered at the gate, pointing and whispering. Some muttered that I was heartless. Others shook their heads, saying the Chin children had gone too far. In my past life, I would have caved under the pressure. Now, I only felt disgust and weariness. I knew that if I gave in even once, I would never be free of these leeches. Instead of arguing further, I straightened up and addressed the crowd in a clear voice that carried down the alley. Everyone, bear witness. Qin Jingming's siblings are his and his family's responsibility. From today on, I, Su Qinghe, have nothing to do with Qin Jingming. I have no obligation to raise his children. Then I walked toward the alley entrance. The crowd parted automatically. They all knew where I was going. Under the old locust tree at the alley entrance, Su Xiaoting stood on tiptoe, clutching a handkerchief, clearly waiting for Qin Jingming. She wore a pale pink dacron shirt, her hair neatly combed. When she saw me coming, her face filled with panic, and she instinctively tried to hide. I stopped her. My tone was calm but brooked no refusal. Su Xiaoting, come with me. Her face went pale. She twisted the handkerchief in her hands. Qinghe, I have things to do. You can do them later, I said. The 3 Qin children are causing chaos in my yard, demanding I pay for their food and school fees. Since you're so devoted to Qin Jingming, this is your responsibility now. Her cheeks flushed bright red. Her eyes darted away. But she didn't dare argue. Everyone in the alley knew how she felt about Qin Jingming. She had been waiting for me to step aside. Now, I was handing the mess directly to her, and she had no reason to refuse. I took her by the arm and led her back to my yard. When the 3 Qin children saw Su Xiaoting, their crying subsided. They were used to her helping them. They knew she was soft-hearted and easy to push around. I released Su Xiaoting and looked coldly at the children. From now on, go to her for your food, clothes, and expenses. She's willing to give for your brother. She's willing to take care of you. I have neither the obligation nor the time. Jinxiu hesitated, then tentatively called out, Sister Xiaoting. Su Xiaoting was at a loss, but she had no choice. She stepped forward, took Jingyue's hand, and coaxed, Yeah, be good. Sister will buy you candy. Jinxiu, Jingyang, let's go home first. Don't disturb Qinghe's studying. Just then, Qin Jingming ran in. Having heard about his siblings' outburst, he took in the scene. Me, Su Xiaoting, the 3 children. His face cycled through shades of red and white. Su Qinghe, why did you drag Xiaoting into this? He sputtered, pointing at me. Have you no conscience? Conscience. I laughed lightly, my eyes cold. My conscience ran out long ago, worn away by you and your siblings harassing me again and again. Qin Jingming, you are their older brother. Taking care of them is your responsibility, not mine. Su Xiaoting is willing to help you. Why don't you just accept her help and leave me alone? I raised my voice so the neighbors could hear clearly. I'll say this once and for all. Don't come to me with anything related to the Qin family ever again. Whoever wants to deal with them, deal with them. I have exams to study for. I don't have time to waste on your family. Qin Jingming was speechless. Under the neighbors' probing gazes, his face burned. He had no ground to stand on. Su Xiaoting quickly pulled the children aside and said quietly, Jingming, Let's go first. Don't disturb Chingha's studying. I'll take care of the children. He looked at Su shouting, then at me, with my resolute expression. Finally, he stomped his foot and slunk away with the children in tow. The neighbors dispersed. Even those who had called me heartless were now shaking their heads, saying the Chin family was too selfish and that no one would want to deal with them. The yard finally fell silent. I closed the gate, shutting out all the noise and toxic people. Back at my desk, looking at my neatly arranged study materials, I took a deep breath. The last lingering attachments in my heart had vanished. Without the Chin family's entanglements and others' gossip, I could finally focus entirely on the exam. When my parents came home and heard what happened, my mother took my hand, her eyes red. Chingha, you've been wronged. I'm glad you got rid of them. My father patted my shoulder approvingly. You did the right thing. We don't start trouble, but we're not afraid of it either. Focus on your exam. Don't worry about anything else. I nodded, my eyes stinging. With my parents as my support, I had the strongest foundation. As night deepened, the kerosene lamp cast a gentle glow on the desk. I held my pen, and it flowed smoothly across the paper. Outside, the insects chirped as always, but my heart had never been calmer. The burdens that had entangled me for half my past life were finally shaken off in this one. Now, I only needed to give my all to the exam that would decide my fate, to the Beijing I longed for. The 2 days of the exam flew by. When I walked out of the exam hall, the summer sun felt warm on my skin. I wasn't tired, only relieved. As if everything had finally settled. I had poured all my effort into it. Now, all that was left was to wait for the results. During the waiting period, I didn't slack off. I helped my parents with housework and occasionally read to enrich myself. The gossip in the alley had changed tone. Those who had mocked me, Aunt Zhang and others, now greeted me with polite smiles and even came over to ask about the exam. Their words full of flattery. Chingha, you must have done well. I always knew you had potential. Yes. Yes. The Sioux girl works so hard. Peking University is definitely within reach. I just smiled faintly, neither confirming nor denying. This was how people were. They trample you when you're down and flock to you when you're up. I had long since seen through it. As for Chen Jingming, he had performed poorly on the exam. His score was only enough for a local technical college. He stayed home, his temper growing worse. Su shouting, on the other hand, ran to the Chen house every day to wash clothes, cook, and take care of him and his siblings. She became a laughingstock in the neighborhood, and the Chen family's free nanny. At the end of July, the postal courier rode his green bicycle up to our gate, ringing his bell loudly, his announcement echoing through the alley. Su Chingha, admission letter, Peking University. That shout was like a thunderclap in the alley. My parents rushed out of the house. I clenched my hands and walked slowly to the courier, taking the brown paper envelope stamped with a red postmark. The moment my fingers touched the envelope, tears welled up unbidden. I tore it open with trembling hands. The gold-embossed Peking University admission letter was right there. Those words were the proof of my countless days and nights of hard work. She got in. My daughter got into Peking University. My father held the letter, his hands shaking, tears streaming down his weathered face. His back seemed to straighten by 10 years. He told everyone he met. I knew my daughter could do it. A university in Beijing. My mother wiped her tears and scolded him with a smile. Old man, don't make a fool of yourself. Let Chingha go inside and rest. But she couldn't hide her smile. She went straight to the kitchen and slaughtered the only old hen we had, to nourish me. The neighbors crowded at our gate, their eyes full of envy and admiration. No one dared call me foolish anymore. The criticism and mockery had turned into praise. I stood in the room, looking at the admission letter in my hands. My heart was calm and firm. Not long after, Chen Jingming rushed over, his face pale, his eyes holding a last shred of hope. He stood at my gate. Chingha, you really got into Peking University. Wait for me. I'll go to Beijing with you. Let's start over. Okay. I looked at his pathetic figure and felt only irony. My voice was as indifferent as ever. Chen Jingming, we settled our accounts long ago. You go to your technical college. I'll go to my Peking University. From now on, we go our separate ways. Stop bothering me. I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have used you. Give me one more chance. He reached for me. I stepped aside. Chance. I laughed lightly. The chance I gave myself was to quit that iron rice bowl, to study day and night, to break free of you and your family. The chance you want was never mine to give. Take responsibility for your own life. Don't bother me again. Seeing my resolute eyes, he finally understood. I was no longer the Suchingha he could manipulate. He slumped against the wall, his face full of regret and despair, but he couldn't utter another word of persuasion. He slunk away and disappeared from my life for good. Before the semester started, I packed my simple belongings. My parents secretly stuffed their savings into my bag, giving me endless advice. Take care of yourself in Beijing. Don't skimp on food. Write home if you need money. Don't suffer in silence. Home will always be your support. I hugged them, choking back tears. Mom, Dad, don't worry. I'll study hard. One day, I'll take you to Beijing to enjoy life. On the day of my departure, before dawn, my father rode his bicycle to take me to the county train station. The morning light was faint, the country road quiet. Sitting on the back of the bike, looking at my father's not-so-straight back, my heart was full of gratitude. The train whistle blew. The scenery outside the window sped backward. The small town's outline gradually disappeared. I leaned against the window, clutching my admission letter, a smile of relief on my lips. 1987. I was reborn. I cut off a toxic relationship, quit my iron rice bowl, studied behind closed doors, shook off all burdens, and finally, on my own strength, headed to Beijing, to my bright future. The suffering and regrets of my past life had turned into armor and foundation for this one. In this life, I would not rely on a man or false affection. I would be my own support and live as the brightest version of myself. The train traveled north, into the distance. My new life had only just begun. What do you think of this story? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your voice.